Hello there, my name is Florian and I welcome you to IT Tech Tips. In the last episode we talked in depth about shares and share permissions and file systems and file system permissions, and in this episode we're going to connect the shares we've created in the last episode automatically to the client PCs when a user logs on. We're going to do that with the legacy method of using logon scripts. But in the next video I'm going to show you yet another method. As I promised, this episode will be much shorter than the last one. Let's have a look. Before we begin, you should make sure that all of our systems in our lab environment are running. By now you should know how this works and in what order you should start the virtual PCs. As soon as they are all ready, go to acme-dc01 and navigate to the place where we have created our share in the last episode. Open a command prompt and enter the command net share to have a look at the share we've created in the last episode. As you can see, it's called shares and the physical location is on the drive letter E in the folder shares. You may also notice that we have other shares that we did not create manually. For example, the net logon share. The net logon share is created by default when we have set up the Active Directory domain services. If you missed this episode, I linked it here. And in this share, we can create logon scripts which will run automatically as soon as the client logs on, if the logon script is connected to this user, of course. So take a good look at this path, C, Windows, sysvol, then our domain name, /scripts. Now we're going to navigate to this path in our File Explorer. Once we are there, you may want to create a link in the quick access section of the File Explorer. Just drag and drop the path to the quick access section, because we're going to use that folder probably more often in the future. Now in this place, right click and create a new text document. This text document will become our script in a few seconds. As you can see on the server, we did not enable the file extension, so this file has no visible extension, but we need to change that so we can change the file ending. So go to View and check the checkbox next to File Name Extensions. And now we can rename the file from login.txt to login.command, CMD. Windows will ask for a confirmation. You can say yes. And now we can edit the file. Do not open it, right click and edit. And in the last episode we learned about the command net use, which connects a network share to a drive letter. This command we've entered manually on a client, and here we're going to enter the exact same command in this login script. Make sure you don't make any typos. And we're going to map our share to the drive letter G. So net use G column /acme-dc01 /shares. Save the file and close the notepad. Now, if it's not already open, start Active Directory users and computers, and then navigate to the organizational unit domain normal users. For our first example, we're going to assign this logon script to our user Donald Duck. So open the properties of Donald Duck and go to the tab Profile. And here you can see that we have the ability to enter the name of the login script and we're going to enter the name we have just created called login.cmd. We would also have some other options like mapping a home directory for the user, using the Windows integrated functions without having to use a logon script, and we could also create a centrally stored profile, which I personally do not recommend because roaming profiles, that's what they're called, are out of date, and in my opinion they create more problems than they solve. Hit OK. And now we're already ready to test that on our client 1, so go to our first client and log in with the user Donald Duck. The password you should know by now, otherwise you can watch it in the earlier episodes. As you can see, we have our share mapped to the driveletter G, and this mapping is from our logon script. Here is the folders in our share. And to prove that this really worked and is not just a connection from our previous exercises, we're going to disconnect the share by right-clicking on it and selecting disconnect. As you can see, the share is now gone. And we sign out and sign back in with Donald Duck. You can go and double check in the File Explorer and the share should be here again. And you can use this share now the exact same way as you used it when you've entered the path in the address bar in the last episode. Now go back to our domain controller acme-dc01 and edit the user dagobert.duck. Also enter the login.cmd logon script in the correct position. Also do that for the user Daisy Duck and for the user Mickey Mouse. We're not going to use the logon script for our client admin user because this is kind of a special user. Now we quickly do another test to be really sure that it worked using our user Mickey Mouse on client 2. Log in, go to the File Explorer, and as you can see, the share is still here with the folders and the permissions we've set in the last episode. When you navigate to the management folder, you should get an error message because Mickey Mouse is not in the management group and only the management group can access the management folder. As I said in the introduction, this was a really short episode. This way of connecting network shares automatically is done for over 20 years, so it's a really old way of doing it and it has a lot of disadvantages. Sometimes it just doesn't work because the network latency is too high or the server is not ready or there was simply a typo in the logon script, so there are nowadays much better ways to do it. One method of also mapping network shares is using the group policy objects, and this will be the topic in the next episode. So if you don't want to miss the episode, hit the subscribe button and ring the bell. Stay tuned, see you next time.